Where to sit? Ugh, this spot's too cold. That one's too noisy. Oh, there we go. This one's just right. If you're looking for the best service in the cabin. Think I'm talking about business or first class? Sure, they have big comfy seats that unfold into a full-on bed, bigger TV screens, privacy walls. No arguing with that logic. But no, go past them. I'm talking cheap seats in economy, where the service is even better than in the front sections of the plane. Must be the window seats. There you have a little more room. You can lean over and rest your head, watch the clouds, or read a book in natural light during the flight. Then again, you'll have to constantly disturb your neighbors when you want a bathroom break or to stretch your legs. And sometimes you need your neighbor's help to pass food or drinks over your way. No, window seats aren't the most comfortable spots either. Alright, then it's over by the aisle. You don't have a neighbor's elbow in one of your sides. You're free to stretch your legs out into the aisle. Just be careful not to trip anybody. And you get up and walk around or go to the loo without disturbing other passengers. Wait, scratch that. You have to deal with a food cart bumping your elbow. And don't even get me started about people using your headrest as a handrail when they walk down the aisle. Plus, if the plane goes through severe turbulence, the overhead bins might get knocked open, spilling all those bags right on the aisle passengers' heads. Oh, and here's one you might not know. If the aircraft suddenly loses pressurization, the crew has only a few seconds to get to the nearest oxygen mask. If they happen to be moving down the aisle with a food cart, there are extra masks directly over the aisle passengers' heads. Nah, side seats can hardly be the best option for a long flight. Plenty of travelers swear that the seats near the emergency exits are the most convenient. No surprises here. Aviation rules require these rows to have more space, so you can sit with your legs stretched out. But these cozy spots are limited to a few lucky ones. Or the bravest. Passengers sitting near the emergency exit must help the crew during an evacuation. In fact, you can't sit here unless you agree to the terms. And the biggest inconvenience? Forget about sitting with your kids, pets, or grandpappy. This row is only for those physically capable of helping the crew get everybody out of the exit. The best seat has to be the one where you can get some quiet shut-eye, the part over the wings. Think of the plane as a giant seesaw. If it gets into some turbulence, the middle of the cabin is much less bumpy than the front or end of the aircraft. In general, it'll be quieter if you're above or in front of the wings, because that's where the engines are. If you're behind them, it'll be like sitting in front of a boombox speaker. The wing part is also the best for taking pictures. An impressive shiny aircraft wing set against the backdrop of gorgeous sunlit clouds. You'll get tons of likes on your socials. Or maybe you don't like the wings blocking your view. If you have a fear of flying, I wouldn't recommend the seats with this view either. It's a little daunting seeing the wings bounce when the plane lands. How about those bulkhead seats right after business class? Nobody sitting in front of you. The food and drink carts come to your row first. We're getting close, but these still aren't the best spots for service. Having your tray table fold out of your armrest isn't as convenient. Or the fact that you don't have a seat in front of you to store your personal bag under. And good luck getting any shut-eye or quiet reading in this row. It's usually where they put the kids. Okay, I'll quit teasing you. If you're looking for the best seats in the house, as far as service goes, and you don't want to overpay for business or first class, then, drumroll please, sit in the very back of the cabin. Crew members recommend it because they're actually the least popular seats among passengers. The very back of the plane rocks more from turbulence, and not many people want to sit right near the noisy lavatories. Although planes are one of the safest modes of transport on the planet, 7 out of 10 people are terrified of flying. If you're among them, then the last rows of the plane can help calm you down a little during a long flight. According to statistics, it's the safest zone in the aircraft. There's always an emergency exit in the tail section, which means you could get out faster in an evacuation. And your odds of coming out of a bad situation alive are also a bit higher here. But if you're not afraid to fly, and you're just looking for some excellent service, the back can even compete with business and first class. That's because the flight attendants are in the back of the plane most of the time. It's where they prepare food and drinks, or simply rest. Meaning, cabin crew are more likely to respond to a passenger sitting at the end of the plane versus having to go all the way to the front where those folks overpaid for good service. Also, if you're on a long intercontinental flight, you'll notice the last seats are often left empty. You could get one cheap ticket and come out with a whole row of seats to sleep on. That, and passengers are sometimes let out of the plane from not only the front exit, but also the rear one. So if you're in the last row, you could get out faster than even business class passengers. But that's not always the case. If you're not in a time crunch, be ready to get off the plane at the very end of an already long deboarding process. And hopefully you're not too hungry. Being in the back also means you'll get the last of the meals, and sometimes they run out of one or the other option by the time they make it to you. Finally, if you're not a fan of bumpy rides, remember that the back gets shaken by turbulence the most. After hearing all this, what if you want to change your seat? Don't go helping yourself right away, you must ask permission. And don't even bother asking for a seat that normally costs more, like in an exit row or a higher class. You won't get it. But even if you got your eye on that last row, or anywhere else within your class, cabin crew might still deny your request. Depending on the airline, the plane model, and how the cabin looks at that moment, you might be told no because it can throw off the plane's balance. You see, for any flight, weight and balance are key to stability, and they're very carefully measured. The crew might not want to risk any unexpected changes. So, I'll leave it to you to weigh the pros and cons next time you're choosing a seat as you're booking. And let me know down in the comments which seat you usually prefer when you fly. All aboard! Wait a minute, that's a train. Never mind.